Good afternoon. I'm Kalisha Williams with the Midday News. Special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com. Government Senator Matthew Samuda has indicated that additional single-use plastic items will be banned in 2021. Come Wednesday, styrofoam food containers will be banned. This follows the ban on plastic bags and straws in January this year. Over the past 2 years, the government has been gearing its attention to the so-called legacy projects in the corporate area. But at the same time, roadways in rural areas continue to deteriorate. And we do apologize for the absence of that story. In the meantime, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, is calling on citizens to support the ban on styrofoam food containers. The ban takes effect on Wednesday, and NEPA says it will not be granting any grace period. It says restaurants who use the containers after tomorrow will face the penalty.
Well, we want to challenge our citizens to support the plastic ban, preserve our land and support the plastic ban, use the alternatives, and we'll be all in conformity with our laws.
The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is again calling for the government to address the influx of teachers leaving the country to pick up jobs overseas. This as the association believes more teachers will leave the country come next year. Here is TVJ's Prince Moore.
In August 2019, the Ministry of Education said the system loses about 750 teachers annually. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Owen Speed, says more teachers will be leaving Jamaica during the first half of 2020. Therefore, he wants the government to come up with an aggressive plan to tackle the brain drain in the teaching profession.
I don't think enough has been done over the past few years to stem the migration of teachers. And indeed, what we know is that there will be some teachers who will be leaving our shores even within the next month or so. And we expect that some will leave sometime in April, as well as somewhere down in June, we'll lose another set. So what we are seeing is that there will continue to be that brain drain in the teaching services.
In the meantime, the JTA is working on a plan of its own. Mr. Speed says the association has completed a survey on ways to incentivize teachers.
And we have looked at all the push factors that are influencing this teacher migration. We have those results, but it's just a matter of compiling them and finalizing them. And in short order, we will be speaking to the relevant persons in authority to ensure that we put things in place. You know, sit around a table with the relevant stakeholders and put things in place to sort of stem the teacher migration.
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
There is a warning this afternoon for persons using debit and credit cards to be more cautious when doing point-of-sale transactions. Speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica program this morning, one expert said that persons are easily scammed in this type of transactions. He explained that the magnetic cards, which hold user information, is not secured. Therefore, this appeal to card users
is encrypted, but once you swipe it in a machine, the machine has the ability to decrypt and get the information from there. So that magnetic strip actually carries all the information on your card, including a second section of the strip that carries your PIN, which is what authorizes the transaction. So if somebody can decrypt that part of the card through a card reader, then they're getting all your information from the card.
Therefore, this appeal to card users.
While the financial institutions and your banks have some sense of responsibility to help keep you aware and keep you safe, we have to have good practices as well. So, look at the notifications. Each time I swipe my card,
something comes up to say,
and I check it.
But not all banks do that. No.
Right, so try either check out with the facility if they do it, and if it's something you're just not getting as a service, or consider going to an institution that does it, because it does help.
As the new year approaches, the government has announced that greater focus will be placed on addressing a decades-old problem: poor farm roads. Speaking at a function in St. Elizabeth recently, Minister without portfolio in the Agriculture Ministry, J.C. Hutchinson, urged farmers to send requests to the Rural Agricultural Development Authority rather if they want roads in their areas to be repaired. Here's more in this report. Over the past 2 years, the government has been gearing its attention to the so-called legacy projects in the corporate area. But at the same time, roadways in rural areas continue to deteriorate. Farmers in particular have been having a tough time transporting their produce due to poor roads.
So what we are going to be doing now to move forward for next year, because next year has to be a different year. It has to be one where we have to bring more accountability and transparency to the road program.
He further explained that anyone who wants a road to be fixed in their area will have to send a request to the Rural Agricultural Development Authority's parish manager by the middle of January.
What happens from that, it then goes, whether all requests then goes to the parish advisory board, where the parish manager and the board members sit down and determine which of the roads must go forward.
Mr. Hutchinson explained that part of the problem is that the quality of work being done on farm roads in some areas is extremely poor. For example, workmen not building drains and culverts.
We are going to emphasize that all roads that need drains must have drains, and if it need culvert, must have culvert. We have been finding that many of these roads are being done. Roads that are on a hill, and we find that there's no drains on them.
And it's time for a break, but stay with us. More news right after these messages. Welcome back. We're continuing the news. The latest crime statistics show the police are seizing fewer guns, but more are being stolen. 660 guns have been seized since the start of the year. That's down 8% from the 718 guns that were seized during the same period a year ago. At the same time, 103 guns were stolen. That is up from 75 last year. Can senior citizens provide the solution to crime, or at least help reduce it? Well, that's the unusual suggestion from Council for the Vineyard Town Division of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Andrew Swaby. Councillor Swaby, who was speaking at the Vineyard Town Senior Citizen Awards ceremony recently, insists senior citizens cannot be apathetic to the recent flare-up of violence in sections of Mountain View.
I just want to ask you, senior citizens, you can help to bring back the love. Don't wait until come knocking on your door. You can talk to someone. Because if we give up, if we just keep ourselves to ourselves, we are giving ourselves, the Jamaica, to the criminals. And we can't afford that to happen.
Good news this afternoon for stroke victims as well as patients with heart and brain conditions. The University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, says its interventional adult suite will help get patients with chronic medical conditions back to their regular lives faster. It will serve an estimated 1,000 patients per year. Medical Chief of Staff at the UHWI, Dr. Carl Bruce, says the facility is the first of its kind in the region.
People are going to gravitate to it.
Is the levels of extraction, which was when we first went in, was pretty high. Now we're doing basic cleaning. It therefore means there's a shift in dental care. I don't know exactly what the numbers look like in Eastern Kingston, but we're expecting that shift because we're going to be doing this for the long haul. So we're going to be supporting the government of Jamaica, particularly the Ministry of Health, in ensuring that our little contribution within the communities that we work will help to alleviate the cost of dental care to the country, but also make the people who live in those communities significantly more healthy where oral care is concerned.
Over 300 residents, including scores of children, benefited from a dental clinic hosted in West Kingston recently. The dental clinic was free and is to help promote good dental health among residents.
We have assembled some of the best surgeons with over 5,000 cases of experience. And what we have done with that is to reduce the learning curve for everyone and at the same time deliver high quality care to all of those patients who have brain hemorrhages, cerebral aneurysms, arteriovenous malformations, fistulas, and also stroke patients. And in doing that, we would have strategically gotten these patients out of hospital much quicker with earlier return to work and increased productivity. So the investment is one that's recouped by the patients recovering quicker and returning to work earlier, adding to the productivity of the country.
To regional news now, former Director of External Affairs of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Jimmy Emmanuel, is dead. Mr. Emmanuel died on Sunday. The Commission did not provide details on Mr. Emmanuel's death. In a statement, the Director General described Mr. Emmanuel as an exceptional professional whose contribution to the development of the OECS region is invaluable. And at this time, we go to sports. With no planned retirement date set as yet, 40-year-old Chris Gayle says he still has a lot left in the tank despite his struggles in 2019. The self-proclaimed universe boss is planning to prove his doubters wrong in 2020. Here is Daniel Blake.
Chris Gayle has not represented the West Indies since averaging just 29 runs against India in the home series in August. There were even talks of him playing a farewell test match at Sabina Park against the Indians, but it didn't materialize. Since then, some senior cricket figures and pundits have suggested that Gayle should hang up the bat for the Windies to give way for younger talents. But Gayle says that's just talk.
The public cannot call on Chris Gayle to end something spectacular. You know, this is a universe boss, so the public will never call on Chris Gayle to actually call it a day or whatever. You know, they want to see the universe boss. No, don't mind the little bittering and all this chit-chat, you know, so listen to me, they always want to see the universe boss. And, you know, without the universe boss, things are going to be deteriorating, all right? So they need me as long as possible around, so trust me. You're tired to see my face. Put it that way.
And despite the highs and lows throughout the year, Gayle is grateful for what he achieved in 2019.
It's been awesome to me. I can't be ungrateful about 2019. I'll be thankful. You know, record-breaking score, beating a legend, Brian Lara. You know, the highest run scorer in ODI cricket for West Indies. So quite a few interested innings as well. Few ups and downs, which is something we all have to deal with in life.
As for the year 2020,
hopefully I can have a good start to 2020. And like I said, I'm the king of 2020. It's 2020. I'll be ready for 2020. Looking forward to it.
Gayle was speaking at the Treat of the Century, which he held at the Lucas Cricket Ground, where he was joined by Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Sports Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange. Daniel Blake, TVJ Sports.
And that's the news. I'm Kalisha Williams. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.